G'day everyone, Wayne from Land and Bay Fishing. Today we're going to have a look at how to rig soft plastics. Let's get on with it. We're going to go over 3 different ways to rig up soft plastics on jig heads. Firstly, a little bit about the jig heads. We're going to use a hidden weight today, a normal jig head, and a worm hook or a weedless jig head. We'll start with a 50mm prawn on a hidden weight. Make sure you match your jig with your bait. You don't want to be using a jig that's too big for your bait, and you also don't want to be using a jig that's too small for a bait. So start between the eyes. You can measure the hook. Once you've done a few, you probably won't have to. You measure the hook, you can see where it comes out roughly on that second run down there, or you can just take it so that when it bends around onto the home straight here, onto the back of the shank, you straighten it up there and slide it on. That's the way I prefer to do it. So between the eyes on the top of the bait, make sure it goes straight down the center of the bait, and it's around just on the shank. This is your opportunity to make sure that it's in the center when you just bring it through. So you do that, and this is in the center, so it'll swim nicely. Bring it through the rest of the way and push it firmly over the hidden weight. Once it's there, you're ready to go fishing. So that's the hidden weight. Nice good gait, nice straight bait, and that'll swim nicely for me. Second one we're going to do is the normal jig head on a soft plastic. So let's have a look at a 2.5 inch curly tail. So there's my 2.5 inch curly tail, and we'll use, this is a TT lure or a headlock jig head, 1/16. So what we want to do here is exactly the same as the last. You can measure it if you want to, and this comes out pretty much at the back end of the bait there, or you take it around till it's on that home straight there and bring it back in. So straight down the center of your bait, you push the bait up rather than pull the hook, and when it gets down to the bottom, you bring it out, push it around, take it right over that weight. The neck of your bait then closes in between that center weight and the jig head and locks your bait there. That's really good for when you're flathead fishing and you're really ripping it up off the bottom and disturbing the mud or the sand. You'll find there's less opportunity for the bait to slip down the shank of your hook. So that's the curly tail on a normal 1/16 type jig head. And the last is your weedless. So what we want to do is have this set up so that when it's finished, this runs flush with the top of the bait, just like this one. So let's have a look at, there's a 4-inch paddle tail. So a 4-inch paddle tail, what we want to do is run it so that it goes down under the bait, then back up and runs right in the center there, and the hook will lay inside those little flaps there. So that's what we're aiming to do. So the first step is to take it through the chin of your bait, so about 1 centimeter. This distance here is approximately 1 centimeter altogether, so that's about how far I want to go through the chin of the bait. So start there, about 1 centimeter, and straight down, take it all the way through, all the way up, and then turn it around so it slips over just like that. So that's where I'm up to there. You can see it sitting nicely, and it's going to come up right in the center there at the back end of these flaps. So that's what I want to do. I'll pinch it right behind the hook, and I know the hook has to come up just in front of my fingers there. So through the center, straight up and out the center above it. Make sure it's in the right spot, and when it comes through, it'll sit flush just underneath, in between those flaps and underneath the surface of the flaps there. So you can see that you've got a very, very good well rigged weedless bait sitting nice and flat. Now one thing I want to talk about at this, you can buy these without your weight here, so it'll just be your hook, and you can use different size weights based on the terrain that you're in. So if you've got a nice strong current and you want a nice heavy weight, you might go Texas rig, where you'll rig this above the bait. It can be sliding on your line, or you can have a swivel up here so that it stops up here and this sort of wafts at the end, but you will get it down quite deep with this amount of weight. Or you could just wind these on. These are wind on weight, so just stick it over the edge here, give it a twist, and there's your weight. So that one there is about a 1/4 ounce, I think. Yeah, 1/4 ounce, that one. This one here is about a 1/6, I think. Oh yeah, that's 1/6. So very easy on, very easy off. Nice easy way to rig your weedless baits. So that's the 3 different ways to rig soft plastics. As you can see, it's very easy to do. My favourite way isn't so much measuring the jig head. It's basically just winding your bait onto the hook till it hits the back end of the curve onto the straight, and bringing the barb out, and you'll find that most times, unless you've got a bait that's the wrong size for your hook, most times it'll work an absolute treat. So there it is there. So if you've got any questions at all, don't be afraid to make comment down the bottom. If you've got something out of the video, hit that like button, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.